figured, I don't know why, but I decided we're going live, folks. I don't know, whatever you guys want to do. If you guys want to do some like comedy stuff, or you guys want to talk Trump, you guys want to talk politics, I flipped all the messages on. So yes, we are doing comments, chat. Yes, we're doing comments. Yes, we're doing comments. And we're doing Trump and all this other stuff. And yeah, I'm gonna have all this stuff up over on this side though. It's over on the other side. So but yeah, I hope everybody's having a good night. Hopefully everybody's big chilling, small chilling, side chilling, upside down chilling, left chilling, to the right chilling. We're just doing all the chilling for everybody tonight. Yeah, I had a good day personally. I hope you guys had a good day. I went on an theism debate channel. There's a Mormon dude there. And yeah, I'm a big YouTuber as well in terms of like using YouTube. So I hung out with a couple of the new channels I subscribed to recently. It was very cool. And yeah, I got to go to a venture capitalist conference today. It was just like an open networking event. So that's cool. I know a lot of people here don't use LinkedIn. Hey, what's up, Beats? Good to see you. I think Trump's going to invade Yemen. Uh, maybe it wouldn't surprise me. I haven't been following the Iran war the last couple of days. It kind of stalled out. Trump seemed to slow down after a lot of the consolidation. France is putting a lot of pressure on Israel now versus the United States, and that does it shifts a lot of the burden back over to the United States. It's all of Europe really seems. Spain also announced today that they're not going to allow any use of Spanish air bases, airspaces for any conflict that's going on. They consider it an illegal. Yeah, it's now an illegal conflict. So you've got all these people saying different things now. But yeah, I don't know why you would think Trump's going to invade Yemen, what it would accomplish. I think Trump wants to win before midterms and has learned any ground invasion in Iran would risk high casualties. Yeah. So absolutely, it's going to be super, super duper unpopular. It's going to be really unpopular. You know, anytime U.S. troops are deployed, people always forget that it is 10 times worse. I'm setting up a pinned message. Sorry. It always gets 10 times worse. Once in the news cycle, you start hearing about what people actually do. And then it's always 6 months later, someone starts talking about how expensive it is. 6 months later, someone will start talking about all the equipment and things that we don't have. And so it's just one of those really dumb things. Because in my opinion, it's like, yeah, if you're pro-peace, if you're anti-war, if you support national security, but not in this like, kind of King Kong chess beating, I always got to be the first one out in front of stuff. To me, it's like, okay, just be that person all the time. I don't know if that's that hard, but yeah, he doesn't have nearly enough troops for Iran, but for Yemen. Yeah. So, yeah, I think just in Iran's a nation of 90 million people. About half of them have college educations. Iran has a very large ground army. Iran also probably has some technology the US doesn't know about because they are so large, because they're an authoritarian state, because they've been the focus of pressure. Someone's probably wanted Iran slightly harder than US intelligence can totally estimate for. And it's also a very geographically large country. And so when you say that he doesn't have enough troops, I mean, that's like an understatement. You would need you would just need the congressional vote to go to war. And then after this, one would still imagine that it would be quite the effort. It would be quite the effort, not just for an initial bombardment, but to actually get forward positions secured. That's what it would be at first. And then after that, you have to keep in mind that just like everywhere else, you would have right, national resistance fighters, insurgencies, right? And so I don't think that a lot of people question whether or not the US and Israel together could topple the Iranian government. But the point is there's still no victory criteria. There's nothing you would win by doing so. With a 94% literacy rate. Yeah, that, and in the US, for a lot of people who are pro peace, they're like, yeah, well, the banana for scale, it turns out when you look at it, is that, yeah, there's places in the United States that have 70% literacy rates, right? So probably lower too. I'm sure if you got into the details and figured out where some of these challenges come from. And so it's just remarkable because it's not just about like saying, well, we need to be pompous and have a bad attitude about humans being capable of working, supporting a family later in life, and things like this. But what are you going to do, right? Like, honestly, if the entire world is writing and creating content and videos and media and all this other stuff, what are you going to do? Hey, what's up, Marilyn? Good to see you. How are you doing? Happy whatever day it is today, dude. We got the head moderator of the Ducks Y channel, Marilyn. So for everybody watching, say what's up to Ms. Marilyn. Yeah, and so it's really weird because when you say like it's a conversation, because literacy isn't about national security. It sort of is. It sort of is, right? If you have an educated population that's voting, and is capable of being smart enough to think compassionately about issues, you would necessarily think a little bit differently about seeing these hardened positions, and you would necessarily think a little bit different about like big military expenses and things like this, I think. But yeah, and then for Iran, so for Iran, I think when we think of like having right, because Iran's not Ba'athist, I don't think. I don't think they're at this point, I think it's a pretty, they might be, but they do have it's social college, right? So no one pays to go to college there. And in Iran, it's kind of like, I'm not trying to optimize it, but objectively, you graduate school and they're like, okay, cool, go get a job now, right? You're going to go get a job. You might make a couple $1,000s a year. You're going to pay your taxes, and congrats. You're successful in Iran to some extent. And so I think in the case where with Afghanistan and Iraq 20 years ago, and now we're here, Bush and Dick Cheney basically made the case to the American people. They looped in intelligence advisors, entire agencies, right? And so there was a fairly large-scale operational capacity to secure the United States, as well as potentially detect threats coming from outside of the United States. Very significant. And so for all of that, what you ultimately get out is this lie, this half lie, half truth that, it was probably the case that someone in Saddam Hussein's military could have helped with an investigation into Al-Qaeda to track down and arrest Osama bin Laden and turn them over. There's probably people in multiple governments who knew something about Al-Qaeda that others didn't. You would imagine a non-state actor carrying out operations against the United States would have been known to those governments. But back then, you basically get these documents saying that we've got evidence of WMDs, and there's also confounding evidence that Al-Qaeda is operating as an extension of these states, right? It's a non-state actor, but there's so much leniency there, it's difficult or impossible to ignore from a national security perspective. And so from this very big lie that involves the entire United States government, that comes with some kernels of maybe strategic truth, you ultimately also get, the Iraq and Afghanistan campaign. And so with Iran, it's sort of weird to think that, well, what is Trump actually asking us, right? Trump wants us to know that Iran was making these drones, which is absolutely horrible and terrifying, right? You've got drone factories making multiple drone factories making 5 to 10 of these drones, basically spitting them out each day. It's very violent. It's incredibly violent, incredibly dangerous, and incredibly capable. And the worst thing is now that when non-state actors get these drones, you basically have a not too heavyweight, not too difficult to maintain, very low cost ability to build and preserve these weapon systems. Hey, from Northeast Assam. Hello, hello. I don't know where Northeast Assam is, but I hope you are doing. I hope you're doing well. Um, Hi, Robert. Um, yeah, and so when I get back to so the the final point I'd make then, just on this very sweeping sort of social, political, very tangible sort of narrative is that, when you create an excuse or justification and you have the geopolitical thing that comes down maybe, and the American people generally see why Bush wants to invade the Middle East, even if people don't see that they are already disagreeing with it in reality and it's not something that should have happened, you still get that war. And I think the criteria um, matches, but in the sense that it matches in Iran, and just being this sort of like match, it's even weaker, right? So I think most geopolitical analysts, as well as political scientists, as well as politicians, do believe and think of a ground incursion in Iran as producing a much worse result. The costs, the time, the justifications for it. If you have a weaker reason in the first place um, to start stationing troops someplace else, and really getting people like sunk into a battle plan. Really, what it would be is planning multiple operations to actually get into Iranian airspace and land there, build that space, and then really be like from the sky and ground, you'd be hunting down, maybe the top three tiers until the IRGC and all of the Iranian government was basically they were stuck in apartments, right? So you would want everybody detached from their weapons, and so having all these operations planned and being able to execute them from a supply perspective over a period of time. Also, this idea of lances out, you have to stop interference while this is happening. Very unrealistic and scary. The entire conversation. What didn't sound smart? You don't sound smart. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't know what I could have said. Just yapping. There's no logic in your talks. Yeah, I'm sorry. I am sorry. Yeah. And so the simple answer is that, yeah, it's very, in my opinion, it's important to discuss the conflict in Iran and also track the events that are happening in the world, understand the economic and militaristic levers that are driving actors at multiple levels to make a decision, and trying to predict and understand what types of disinformation and information narratives are going to be released, trying to match the message to the largest capability that's possible, and then also keeping an eye on the rest of geopolitics. This is one thing that happened after 9/11 in the United States. Happens a lot of places. This happens a lot of places. Maybe this is what some of you guys want or need to hear, is if you're in a country like the United States and you have 9/11 that hits for 3 years after 9/11, what did Americans talk about? Every single day you had a news anchor in New York City. 4,000 people died. 4,000. 4,000 people died in New York City after 9/11, as a result of 9/11. And so you have people thinking about taxes, about the economy. You have this economic decline. You're leading toward the 2008 recession. People might have been sensing that. You also have still the dot-com bubble and burst of dot-com businesses is still going. So you have an abundance of capital in the United States, an abundance of resources. You have an abundance of oil at that time. And you hear these scary stories in the news for months on end. And so I do think that without taking like a left-leaning position where there's like some differentness of a collective game theory, I don't know what that would be, but just looking at like individual interests and seeing the systems and actors that operate, to me, that's the task of peace, is not shutting up. It's not shutting up. Being able to fall on it a little bit and then build it out. Don't ever apologize again. You are a man or a mouse. I want to be a pretty girl. I want to be a pretty girl. Yeah. Especially if Marilyn left, we have one. She's a pretty debater, right? If Marilyn left, the pretty girl here is gone, right? So I get to be the pretty girl then. You want to be a what do you want to be a whatchamacallit? I don't know. You want to be gendered? You want to get some genderization in? I'll genderizationize it. I won't intellectualize it. I'm a Gershtin. Oh, Marilyn is here. Cool. Yeah. Whatever. All right. I'm falling asleep. Cool. Yeah, and so I think the to me the bounds of tolerance that exist around stopping these geopolitical conflicts, a lot of it comes down to signals. And luckily for us, signals that are released are often direct state communications, right? The Chinese do press conferences. You can actually watch them on YouTube if you want. You will also see these announcements of diplomatic meetings, and people generally understand also the decision structures that these come from. So these can all impact interpretation of information that comes out of the international system, right? So yeah, and so you see this, and then you can also track metrics, right? Some dumb beat started in the chat amazingly asking about the Iran war. It's very good to be interested, especially if you're a person of peace. But you can track and see how many munitions have been fired. You can see in some cases, what generally types of munitions have been fired in a conflict, from where, but you can see how many, right? And so these big metrics aren't the same thing as trying to do almost like fake signals work or geopolitical or diplomatic work like on the internet. But they are a good indicator, right? When you see the number, maybe it's scary, it's from 500 to 1200 or something like that. And you're like, okay, well, we kind of expected this, but then we see this pushback from the international system. Is this true, right? Is this something that's actually happening? What happens next, right? So these types of questions are called anarchic consolidation, and these themselves do actually play over and lay into different theories in geopolitics, right? And so in their own small way, these, in any of their small ways, these systems that existed at one point in time, like a neo-Hobbesianism, constructivism, liberalism, right? Realism, neo-realism, multipolarity. These all produce different interpretations of anarchic consolidation. And so when you see a single metric or a single signal, you can also come with 4 or 5 different interpretations. Some of those are wrong. Some of those are maybe not about the core issue, but this starts ultimately helping a person boil up and bubble up what you think is a likely or possible explanation. And so it's very good to be deeply agnostic about these. And also something I try to do is take a longitudinal approach. It means in some sense, yes, we have to be agnostic about the level of actor that's involved in making a decision. But then we also have to be agnostic about maybe the depth or implication of a certain conclusion, which is ultimately tempered based on reality and what game theoretic variables would be impacted by that. Your voice sounds like a daily dose of internet. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Thank you so much. You guys want me to get my troll voice on? You guys want me to get my troll voice on? All right. Here we go in the sky now. All right. How many turtles would 50 bottles of water take out? See, now that's a question. That's a question. I like being encouraged too. I like being encouraged as well. Because I'm the little gorilla stuck on your screen or something, right? But whatever. I don't know, man. I don't know. How many bottles of water. How many turtles? I can tell you my turtle story real quick. So this might be a good one, right? So I used to hike. I used to hike quite a bit. I would go out every day. I would run for about an hour a day. So over the course of the year, I was logging about 2,000 miles, 2 to 3,000 miles a year, right? Very lucky to do this. Whole food diet, vegan diet, all kinds of like good guy stuff. But one day I came across this little empty well and I saw something moving in it, right? That was the first thing that I had noticed at that point in time. And it turns out it was this turtle that had crawled out of the canal. Not a ton of turtles, but there's some in there. And he had got stuck in this little ditch, right? So I was in the middle of my hike and I was kind of scared because for me, when I see a moving animal, I don't know what it is right away, right? It's like, this is tough. I don't know what to do with this, right? So go figure it out or something. But so I jumped down into this little canal thing and I got behind the turtle and I picked him up. And he did this. This is what you might want to know about turtles. Is when I grabbed him, he did this like body shake thing, right? There's, so yeah. So everybody does this, but this turtle did this like body shake thing. He went rah rah all the way up from his neck to his head down to his toes, right? And so I picked him up and my hands went like this, right? This little turtle, wasn't that big. And I could have locked in or something, but I wasn't trying to do that. I was just trying to get him out of this bad situation. Because he was in this ditch. I didn't think he was going to get back out. There was no water in there. I'm guessing he had crawled out for some good reason or whatever. And then, so I picked him up and I threw him back I tried not to, but I got down once he was done shaking. He was kind of pulled back and I put him back in the canal and he dug back down. So anyways, anytime now that I see a turtle in the canal path, I think, maybe that's, no, just for a couple of weeks, right? I'm not that crazy either, but just for a couple of weeks when I'd see a turtle kind of up on the side around the same spot, I was thinking, hey, maybe that was the turtle that I got and put back into the thing, but I don't know. Yeah, running is really good. Running is really good. It's a really hard thing too, because when you stay, it's a hard thing because when you're running, it's supposed to be a little bounce almost, but you're also supposed to really stay grounded and grab the ground. This lets our hips collapse and lift us back up after we fall a little bit. And so, yeah, those are the things that get really tired. Is for me, I always over indexed and overestimated how much energy it actually takes to use like that type of energy, right? To use that type of energy. And so, yeah, anything like, people make fun of body weight exercises and then you see buff calisthenics people, but really like doing 5 or 10 body weight squats, that's still a lot, right? I encourage people, I watch some of the and this sounds exploitative, but I watched some of the Palestinian dudes who during the conflict, because there was no economy. I don't know what the economy was in Palestine at the time, but they made fitness channels and stuff. And so I saw some of these guys who would maybe, spend half their day waiting in line for water or something, and then they would do a 30-minute workout, 20-minute workout, whatever it was. So those guys were cool. Yeah, those guys were awesome. Yeah, if I remember correctly, too, Marilyn's a big runner. I remember Marilyn mentioning that she's got tennies, she's got the running shoes and stuff like that too. Donald Trump sealed all the petrol pump. Yeah, Donald did. He did, right? He did seal. The U.S. has so from a U.S. perspective, right? It's a little myopic because the U.S. has a lot of energy and a lot of oil. That's not necessarily a reason to go to or avoid a war, but it's not stopping us, right? That's one thing. Is energy is not stopping us. The U.S.'s military still runs on jet fuel and diesel, and nuclear, right? And so we have uranium, we have energy, and so you have a functioning military in the United States and a very large one at that. And so understanding what that actually is, how it works, what are the component parts, where do they come from, what do those run on, how much do they cost, who pays for them, when, who specifically pays for them, and when do they get used, right? Those are all also important questions for people who care about peace. It's something that the Greenpeace movement missed, even though I would love to be chasing, personally, I'd love to be chasing seals. I would love to be chasing. Yeah, I'd love to be chasing. Right now, I would love to be chasing. Whatever. Go chase a rabbit. Go to a hiking retreat or something like that. Just get away, get back to the things I used to go do. But um, you know, but like, yeah, Greenpeace, whatever, chase sustainability, go build wind farms. What are we doing? Wind farms. We're doing nuclear plants, hydro. We're looking at geography again and doing geothermal, all this stuff. We're connecting supply chains. We're seeing what can be made more local. What's the time frame? How much does it cost? How much resources does it take? All this kind of stuff. Yeah, those are all cool things. Pretty sure we would be connecting lands with the plastic island by that point. Yeah. Pretty sure we'd be collecting lands with the plastic island at that point. Yeah, that's a good point. Big plastic island. Yeah, there were some robotics startups back in the day. I just looked at them very briefly, but people used to make robots to go pick up ocean trash and stuff. That was kind of cool. I don't know. It was kind of cool. Yeah, so yeah. Nuclear energy. Hey, what's up, Peter? Is the best solution to the energy crisis, cost effective and very safe, low pollution. Cool, sick. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's an easy solution. It's an easy solution that also means when something's easy, it also means that there's space to iterate, right? And like this is like the Google like kind of Google thinking toolish is that like, yeah, if you looked at a nuclear power plant in the 1940s or 50s, what it would have looked like, and how it would have worked, what it could accomplish, where it would go, would be very difficult, right? Everything would be very hard. There'd be a lot of innovation, a lot of new engineering, not just in manufacturing, right? So when you're duplicating something, your engineering process is much heavier into the manufacturing and distribution side. But in the first place, you have to design the product, so your engineers work on designing the product. So going to 1940 to 1980, you imagine nuclear power becomes more like writing a policy bill than like a technocratic question about can we build it, right? It's no longer DARPA. It's no longer the deep state. It's no longer a decision being made for you and your family. There's a lot of stuff it no longer is. And so nuclear is cool. Yeah, if you have any opinions on nuclear in the US versus Europe versus wherever, Africa, the African Union, there's a lot of places that probably wish they could do off-grid, more off-grid power production, as well as expand their grid and collect payments more easily. And yeah, kind of be able to do economic planning or policy a little easier. So that's also a cool thing to think about. The ocean thing that worked better than they expected. Yeah, I like the cut of your jib, feller. I like the cut of your jib, my feller man. My fellow man. My fellow man. Can you imagine the first guy who he probably had the idea for a nuclear power plant and was like, doing a speech in his head, the first time I tried to flip on a light switch and I got whale blubber splattering on myself, but it splattered not on me, but on my soul. So I set out to write the one paper that would wipe off that whale blubber stain, and that paper ended in nuclear engineering. It ended in nuclear power. And I say whale blubber for none, nuclear power for all. For all, I said. Did you hear me? Did you hear me? I said nuclear power for all. Everyone left. Where'd they all go? Where'd everyone go? Come back. Please come back. All right. All right. My name is Duck. I spell it with a U and a D. And then a KC. Do you guys like comedy? Any of you guys NSA spies in chat? Spooks? Any of you guys NSA spies in chat? I want to join the NSA, right? I figured at this point you think they would have a YouTube recruitment program. Google just says, hey, this is the guy that says some smart words on stream. This is the lunatic who believes that time is a heavier, lower dimension than reality. He sounds like a, what is it? Not a quantum physicist, a crackpot, as it were. He sounds like a kook. He's cracking up. But from what I hear, he has separation of his pec muscles and can flex for minutes on end. Don't really ask the hard question either. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let me go give some of the NSA brain scientists, computer folks, they can write their she-shot, algebra, machine code, learn network, program, data packet, freaking port language, and I'll go get them some goddamn computer device right outside the line, right outside the wire. I'll say, boy, why don't you step on up to this DMZ right here, call my fucking notebook. Right? That's right. That's not appropriate. But I'll say, hey, if you see it as my notebook, I'll tell you my code design skill. All right. Oh, it's not code, it's not design, it's operational. All right. Okay, well, let's reverse the order then, boy. All right. That's just called team leadership there. Right? Navy SEAL pick up, fake Navy SEAL pick up a notebook, join the NSA. All right. All right. Oh, you're so talented, Duck. Where are those messages, guys? You're so funny, Duck. You're not a narcissist. Duck, you're so nice. You're so engaging. This guy's not a fucking clown. This guy's such a fucking joke, man. No, he's not. This guy could be doing comedy club in LA, right? That's who I am. I got jokes and jokes and jokes. The Oceanus thing, the ocean thing. You guys remember that guy that I think this is YouTube too. You guys remember that billionaire dude that went in the sub and it blew up? And there's no funny part about that story because this billionaire guy died. But the funny part about it is that very few people, I felt fewer people than expected, took seriously how dumb that was, that this guy hired a company to build him a submarine to go deeper than anyone had ever gone before. And then when it failed the security checks, because he just hired some company to do it, and apparently they told him many times that, there were many people that told him that this thing shouldn't work, that he wasn't working with companies or engineers designing a sub to actually go that deep, and there were engineering flaws, right? So it wasn't people designing a sub to go that deep. But nobody talked about that story the whole time. Not one person, right? Yeah. Fake. It's all fake, right? Fake news. If that guy used artificial intelligence and neural nets and deep learning, right? All these sick categories, he would have been able to go do that, right? He'd been able to build that submarine. He'd have been able to build an average submarine that could go down to the Mariana Trench, right? That's right. That's right. He was a fool, you said. What kind of fool was he? Tell me more about this fool. I'll build him a website. I'll say HTML for you. You understand me, child? You understand me? Photo time one? Come in, come hither. Come hither, share your piece about the fool. Spit it out then, boy. All caps, no all caps in my chat. That's what other streamers say. Do you know what I say? I'd say, here we are. This one. Go share this on the Raging Tomato channel or Myron Gaines or anywhere else? Who said this? Someone said this. No all caps in my chat, young chap. All right. There we are. There we are. Now, last time, if I recall, we had those from not just India, but the Philippines as well. We've had those from Pakistan, from Iran. We've had Iranians here as well, as it were. I believe some Latin Americans, in the sense of Latin America, of course. Where else would a Latin American be from? LA? No, I don't think so. We've had Canadians. Like birds, the Canadians. French. Niagaran. Yeah, of course. Of course. I'm not going to say it. Where else? Had the Caribbeans here, I trust. Trinidad, Tobago. Haiti. Big Haiti and Little Haiti. Cuba. What about Cuba? Yemen. All of these things. He's saying they're fools. He was a fool. Why are you insulting my chat? Get over here. Why was he insulting my chat? That's when this started. I'll trust this. Get over here, Alfred. I think these kids are freaking out. I think it's a school time freak out, buddy. I think we're just getting started. Yes. Don't ask me to be a man of any kind of dissent. Any kind of, what shall we say, of the female to female persuasion, shall we? I won't be your boy. That'll be very bad then. Archaic pilot, tell this fool in my chat to stop using all caps, please. Now, you have a good lad here. You have a good man. Like a beautiful orchid. Arcade pilot in chat. Never seen such a man. No. Oh, of course. Rob Lowe shows up in chat. This guy can't act. You know what I've always wanted to say to Rob Lowe? I would say, Rob Lowe, pox and wreck and enduring masterpiece. Rob Lowe. Lowe me. Fuck you. I don't know Rob Lowe. To all present in chat, please, no all caps. There we go. Listen to, here. I know what to do with this. Here we go. There you go. We've added a wrench. We've added a moderator to our chat room. Arcade Pirate. We've done it. We've done it, dear boy. All right. Go long. Go long, Howie Long. You know, I'll tell you guys this. You guys didn't know this about me, but when I was back in 18, 19, you know, I started playing football with my dad when I was about 13 years old. But when I was in my younger days, you know, yeah. You know, first I started a community college, right? But I was just going there for the girls, right? No, I was a D1 football player, right? Back in my day, I was a pretty good athlete, right? And in high school, they didn't know if I was going to run the ball or throw the ball, right? So I started out doing that, you know, freshman year. Everybody plays all sides of the ball. You learn the playbook, learn the game. You know, that is a football experience. You have a top-tier coach, competitive district. You got to go out. You got to train hard. You got to focus on it on the off season. Then you got to get back into, you know, training mode and competition mode, right? So you learn that. You know, and so my freshman year, college comes around, right? The girls finally left me alone. You know, I was a D1 football player back in my day. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so we got a you know, Arcade Pilot. He's like a referee, right? Mr. Rulebook over here. Good job. Yeah, and so the two things that we are coaching on and working on accomplishing for our modding team today first and foremost, I'm going to say this. It's success, right? Right? That's it, right? So these are your friends that you see in front of you. I believe it's me and Arcade Pilot entirely. Yeah. If you scroll up, those are the things that we are grateful for, but we are not doing anymore. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Tell me where I got it wrong. All right. And by the time I got done with the game of football, my old man, he was he'd gone out to Oregon at that time. So, yeah, beautiful walking trails, hiking trails up there. That was my life. That was my life, right? I was just drowning in pussy all the time. Oh. 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 Is somebody talking about debating in chat? Are we debating, bro? Let's go, baby. Refs would be good on stream debates. Let's fucking go. Okay, all right. I forgot where I know you from. You're not Jack Talcott's, are you? Where are you from, dude? Give me the deets. Give me the lowdown. Where are y'all from? Where's Buddy Guy go? Where's Buddy Guy go? Things get good or bad. Where's Buddy Guy go? Where does Buddy Guy go? I don't know. I have a creature living inside me. Telling you, donkey. This creature living inside me there. Where are we going, guys? Holy mackerel. Where are we going? Ow. Ow. I had my football coach back when I was in high school. He told me, good playbook, good play call was like, it was like, come, right? It was like, getting that done. The reason being, right? You gotta understand this with me there. So, reason being is everybody wants to be a good football player. Not everybody wants to call a play. Okay. So once you understand that, it gives you confidence to pick the ball up. Once you pick the ball up, you can run the play. Once the play is running, people are moving. Once people are moving, they're blocking. Then you're moving the football. That's how football works. But if you don't put those steps together, what do you got? You got immaturity on the football field, right? You don't have people training to play the game of football. You got people training to play a playbook, right? Susie, Nancy, right? It's not a girl's game as it stands. No problem with it. Not saying anything by it. But even in that case, you do not want football players who do not understand the game of football. All right. Yeah. On my main account, I subbed to a Dommy Mommy today. Yeah, I don't know why. But yeah. Shows up on the YouTube algorithm. So she was telling me what to say. That made it really easy, right? Right in her pinned message, I show up and she says, ask if you're a good boy in chat, right? This is what that Dommy Mommy was telling me. So I showed up. Right? I maybe have a concussion, so I didn't understand it right away, right? It seems pretty clear to some people, but yeah, so this Dommy Mommy's asking people to ask her if you're a good boy. So what do? Well, I sit and wait, right? Respectfully, of course. Like, whatever. But yeah. About 20 minutes pass and I come to this understanding and agreement of sorts. And so, I find the little weird sad face emojis. And I believe it's Bob, John, Armando. Everybody's down there, right? Pretty much everyone, right? Sad puppet. So I do my sad face emojis and I go, Dommy Mommy, tell me I'm a good boy. Tell me what I did good. I was writing the pinned message, so I said, fuck it. You know how that feels? Just like you would think, right? T9. Less weight than a Pornhub search. More weight than, honestly, different weightedness than fucking uh, phys.org, fucking Wikipedia, right? You know, I'll tell you this, Sergeant Nancy McGinnis, little Susie Don gives you the Army ERP system, right? I'm not talking the bullshit, right? I ain't talking fucking, no one gives a fuck about a helmet, right? Do you know how much a helmet costs? It ain't that much. It's a little bit, ain't that much. Reckon helmet costs about 1/100th of a college degree or so. So you get that kind of ERP system, and yeah, pretty soon you're like, you're looking up to Colin Powell, saying, "Call me a good boy, daddy. Tell me I'm your sweet little girl, Dommy mommy. Come get you some." Rarely do people ask ducks how. We got Danny DeVillain in the house. You're gonna have to hear my Dommy mommy story coming up pretty soon here. We're not quite there yet, but I'm doing good, dude. I don't know how ducks do it. I want to know how ducks migrate. Those fuckers are so weird, right? It's not just air pressure and temperature, but they go so far. They go so far, and there's so many of them, right? So that's another one of those statistical things where if you just draw a space around it, you'd be like, wow, these guys must be fucking magical. I'm good, dude. I hope you're good, Danny. It's been a while. I hope Kel's good. I haven't seen her in a while. I haven't seen you on her stream in a while. Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, this chick told me, she said, ask if you're a good boy. Yeah, that was the story I just told. It took me about 20 minutes, right? It was right in the pin message. She said, tell me I'm a good boy. And so it took me about 20 minutes, and then I understood it, and I was like, okay, yeah. These guys are brave enough to do it. I'll do it too, right? Follow the text prompts. It's like an SAT thing. Journey is half the battle. Training before a game. I don't know. That's funny to me, dude. Yeah. It's really weird. Really weird, man. I just don't want it to be so weird anymore, dude. I'm sorry. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm just trying to do good things, guys. All this unhealthy shit, right? Jesus fuck. Jesus fuck. Ah. What was I saying about Army ERPs, right? Stolen valor stories, yeah. So I don't give 3 fucks about a helmet, right? That's how you say that, I think. I don't really give a shit about a helmet. Not really. Somebody does, right? I'm glad someone does, right? That person is more important than the helmet, probably. But that person has a much bigger boss than any of the people wearing the helmets, right? In some ways. In some ways. Relative to disclosure. I think disclosure pertains to, for me, disclosure is being open and honest, right? Be open and honest. I want to know the motherfucker who saw the UFO, and I want to know the motherfucker that can validate that story. I don't care about anyone else. Right? Right? And so if you have a theory of UFOs, then you can have something that you can tell me. But if you don't have a theory of UFOs, then sorry, bro, you can stay depressed as far as I'm concerned, right? Because in that truth, you don't have happiness, you don't have joy, you don't have anything totally worth it, right? Totally worth it. Not really. Yeah. Yeah. Well, pretty soon they're going to do like a much bigger release of what, I think, yeah, right. Like, yeah. so like it, like obviously there's nothing deterministic, but I think the idea that nature works exactly like we think it does, and um like uh and that also, you know, um and also like humans are the only ones on earth who discovered religions, discovered symbology, discovered iconography, right? So those are all right, top species, no aliens. Yeah, we are the top, like in terms of the best systems of knowledge. There's absolutely nothing else, right? There couldn't be, but yeah. So I think, yeah, but we built the moon. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. And so just so you know, I think people got the wrong idea when like National Geographic and like the Travel Channel, right? They do these like UFO shows and stuff like that. And so those always do. You know, at some point you at least get that conversation, right? So once those are going, you know, like um, because it is a waiting. It is so this is the part people don't get is like it's a waiting game, right? If aliens exist and can travel to Earth and they don't want to reveal themselves to us, that is going to take some time, right? So what are you doing in the meantime? Isn't that the simple question to ask? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. So, I mean, but what you're talking about then, if you're talking about tidal lock, if you're talking about tidal lock, if you're talking about faster than light travel, if you're talking about the aerodynamics of Earth and what other systems of physics might describe that same system, I don't think you're actually. I think you're getting to the point where it's not just searching, but it's maybe, you know, yeah, yeah. So, okay, and so there's this aspect of maybe kind of stripping down the fundamental conversation. Should one exist, right? Um, yeah, and I think guys all the time, like, that are into like the military release files, right? You check CIA.gov, you see the deep state stuff, you see all that kind of stuff, right? This is like, and you say, well, this is where it goes down, right? Yeah, yeah. Um, but your government can lie to you. But again, as a political science major, I still go back to the empirical stuff, right? That's what I'm looking for the will to live, bro. That's my meantime. The moon is a flyweight. Tidal lock stabilized in the planes. Yeah, cool. Yeah, all right. Hoorah. I hear that, dude. Hoorah. Yeah, not every document is. Are we? Yeah. But again, yeah, I mean, if you are a flat earther going from there to waifu goth channels, you are probably not doing the empirical stuff. You might be, but you probably are not. Yeah. Right. Right. So okay, so I think you're overcomplicating it a bit, but that's okay. I think you're overcomplicating it quite a bit, right? I don't know. Waifu Goth Mommy channel. Hey, welcome to Ducks, soon to be Ducks Waifu. This is called Ducks Y. I think this is the journey I'm on. Is the channel is going to be. Let's see. Let's change the message. Can you guys hear me? Click, click, click. Can you guys hear me typing in the background? Have I done that one? Have I done that one? Whoops. Yeah, I had to pick up my friend Danny in chat real quick, guys. We're still talking. Cool. We're still talking. See the Kirk Bliss. I saw a headline, dude. If you have any update, I don't want to Google it right now because I'm like on stream and stuff, but I saw a headline. I didn't see the actual story. I saw like I thought I saw a major network saying that there's some like forensic evidence about the round. I always take those with a grain of salt because oftentimes there's a very clear again evidence-based interpretation. But what? Is that real? Is that really real, dude? Is that really real? Danny DeVoo. Danny DeVuda. I don't think so. Sounds like the Disney princess thinking to me. That's what I hear. Reindeer's heart better than people. Sven, don't you think it's true? Yeah, people will beat you and curse you and cheat you. Every one of them's bad, except you. But people smell better than reindeers. Sven, don't you think I'm right? Yeah. So that's in Utah, right? That's Utah that we're talking here. They can't prove it was around, but it doesn't mean it didn't come from it. Yeah. So they have no confirmation it was the round that hit Charlie Kirk's body, but they do. But it or it can't prove it came from. So there's just no positive confirmation it came from the weapon that they collected. Yeah, wow. So if that's true, that's I don't know what the defense has said so far, or what this guy said to the police, if anything. But yeah, all the more reason given the bodies of evidence that you have these restorative processes running, even in these cases of political extremists. So belief and planning, right? These really full body sort of exercises people undertake. This is still why you do restorative justice, and why in society you don't want to generally be a large, unforgiving asshole. Yeah, and I bet you have people like Candace Owens who are even further going to be pushing the narrative that there's some conspiracy underneath it, right? Candace Owens has been at this for a while now. It's now been multiple times, right? It's now been multiple times that she's gone live on stream and successfully, you know, whatever. But that helps the defense. She's a sure. She's a sure. Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that much about that, right? She made 1 million predictions in her career with zero, none of them correct, right? None of them correct. Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people saw her and Charlie Kirk as like basically these rave party goers, right? They're like, they're just saying when we get started, we're going to be all the way going, then, right? This is the real deal, right? Same thing, basically, kind of close, same deal, feels the same, looks the same. But yeah, these guys that got big when people started listening to politics on social media, not the David Pakman like early account, not the first time MSNBC published Rachel Maddow videos, but really the first time, dude. She made 1 million predictions and no receipts or evidence is lies. Dude, the fuck, dude. What the fuck, dude? That's crazy, bro. It's crazy, dude. Yeah. I mean, Sarah the Raging Tomato did a whole takedown on her. Yeah. But Yeah, I mean, I don't understand. Yeah, what the like. It doesn't really matter that much, but it's also just very fucking stupid to get into. Just be patient. Trump will heal the land. Joe, make me happy, dude. Make me happy. I'm just kidding. We got Joe Cool in the house. I hope you're good, dude. Dude, I got sucked into Jack Talcott's. I'm trying to escape that side of the panel verse. Something. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I got abused by Paul on his channel. Paul Unslaved. It's called like Proper Guidance Will Make Men Happy or something. It's like some fake red pill conspiracy liberal bullshit. I'm a libtard now. It's compromised by the files. He's dancing on the streets. Okay. Donald Trump told us that we could all start lawn care businesses, and not just doing like lawn care stuff, right? But he told us we could. He said, "Go buy gold," right? Don't just be excited, but be excited the right way when you go buy gold, right? Send the email, right? Get like a bonus ounce in referral gold for telling your fucking like grandmother and father that you have to go. Now we're all getting gold, right? We're all getting gold, right? I say, you fucking idiot. You don't know what you had for breakfast today. You shouldn't even be asking, first of all, but but actually you shouldn't be asking any of it, but Trump just wants you to go buy a fucking gold or something. Yeah. Start an OnlyFans channel, right? There's Trump's America, right? Put money in the pockets of oil producers. Start a Fansly, right? Get your shit up on Linktree. Get Instagram just right. Get it discoverable. Get your Instagram infinitely discoverable. Start an OnlyFans. Right? Is that right? Doesn't seem right. Right? If I was a dude, if I was a pretty girl doing OnlyFans, and I had decided that I want to go all the way in that route, and I don't know how it would be, but I would think that I could find like 4 customers that all I have to do per year is like 4 or 5, maybe like a 50 or 100 regular subs for like not that much, but like 4 or 5 dudes that buy stuff throughout the year, right? So personally, it's like a human manageable like content production schedule or something like that, right? You get the stuff out there, and maybe not that much, whatever it is that you're actually doing, it's not that much worse than that. Right? But if you can sell 5 copies of $100 video a month, that actually helps some people, right? That actually helps quite a bit for some people. Whatever, $250 video package 1 month or something. Sell 5 of them, some of these. A king is a king. Even the libtards you want to bow to their king. Okay, I will do that too. I will do that too. Let's do it then. Let's do it. Let's talk king shit. King shit, motherfucker. All right. All right. The idiot duck speaks. Duck's waifu channel. Duck's waifu channel, right? Be a chef. Be a king. Turn to a god. I know when Erpston was arrested, flipped a dead man switch. Jeff Erpston, when the good Gerstein, the thirst man Erpston came about down long, came said, he doesn't say it on the Glorpstein kind of gluck stuff, right? Yeah, he did the gluck stuff, but not the kind you show your bad auntie. He did the bad kind of gluck. Not that kind. Nope. Anywhere in the world, pre 9/11, people voted for Trump. Anywhere in the world, in the United States, People voted for Bush. They voted for Iraq and Afghanistan. That should at least tell you that there is a string or thin line of stupid that runs through everyone and just seems to be very skilled and talented. It is a very skilled and talented form of nothing. It's a cancer. It is a cancer. It's a cancer without a recognition or immune system that manages that cancer. Ain't that something, dude? There was the Russian site. All right, Russian site. I found the Onion site and read what he did. I know that Epstein was arrested. Yeah. Okay. You know what I have going on right now? Danny DeVille. Yeah, this is the name, right? In what sense is this Danny DeVille? He's a very smart man. I tell you this, okay? Fake Russia. Fake CIA spy. Fake NSA spy. You know what? Jeffrey Epstein leaving his email server, all kind of thing, right? And so he's a very stupid man. Of course, very stupid man, very compromised man. One of two. Compromised man by someone much smarter than him. Of course. No trace. Very stupid man. Billionaire working with former diplomats. Former state representative. Very stupid man. Not a wealthy man, a stupid one. Okay, he did not see. Or he decided. Very stupid man. Very sick, very stupid man. Okay. What did you see? You want to tell me? Tell me. What do you know? Tell me what you saw. Danny? Okay. I'm going to get this out of you, Danny. Tell me the first time somebody told you something about Jeff Epstein that wasn't on the news. Who told you? How did they tell you? It's not that hard. Danny, you know this isn't Arkansas. You know that, right? You think Jeff Epstein didn't recruit runaway children from around the country? It was something else. No. This is the thing fucked up people don't get. Okay. Looking at myself here. If you are of sick fucking mind, you're not going to come up with something that's correct, right? In the first place, right? The stuff and the people are different, right? Stuff and the people aren't different. They just don't exist, right? It's a fictitious world. So something that appears real doesn't appear fictitious is of this type of world. This type of world where Jeff Epstein died in prison, right? Jeff Epstein did not get his big second day in court. Jeff Epstein did not get to discuss the allegations against him. Right? Jeff Epstein's story, the story of Jeff Epstein is partially in the documents, right? And with the survivors of Epstein Island. But somebody told Jeff that, he said, Jeff, leave New York. You're going to become an arbitrage. You're going to become a broker of sorts, brokerage. And so that is what he did, right? He is a good company man who, instead of becoming maybe a director or operations manager, some fucking busy, excited pervert became a billionaire. Very social media apt explanation of whatever that is. Yeah, John McAfee. That guy was rich too. A smart guy, right? Yeah. So how McAfee's business worked. Yeah. This is computer virus. So you have these corporate clients and regular client, consumer clients, right? So you've got subscription retail. So it works a lot like Casper. What is it called? Kaspersky or Kaspersky? Kaspersky, big Russia cybersec company. Yeah. So you build this very rapidly updatable cloud platform that downloads installable software on a hard drive, right? So basically get this kit that just has access to scan things and then offer resolution somehow, however that works. So you build the infrastructure to maintain that big thing off to the side, and it just runs a million times a day. It runs a million times a day, and people buy it and buy it and buy it, and you invest in these parts of it, right? So you've got these probably fairly complex layers pushing new code out, pushing new solutions out to either directly to your customers, right? That's what people think of, even though it's not that, but it's pushing things out into the management, the deployment of the actual cloud technologies. So boogie down, motherfucker. Who told you how to do that, right? We never had viruses before it showed up to his antivirus. Yeah, we did, dude. Danny, do you want to go do something else, man? I want to go do Arthur Skarsten debate, dude. I want to go check my my goth daddy Jesus senpai waifu channels for new shit to do. I gotta see if my Dommy mommy on YouTube's calling me a good burr. On my main. On my main. That's the real task. That's the real task. Isn't it? Oh. I think Danny's giving a master class here. The first computer virus. What do you know about the first virus? Yeah, I don't know anything. I should know about that though, shouldn't I? The first computer virus was the guy figuring out how the vacuum tubes could go again. Oops. I don't know why I accidentally rejoined a panel. First computer virus. Creepers, created in 1971 by Bob Thomas of BBN Technologies to demonstrate self-replicating capabilities on ARPANET. Unlike modern malware, it was harmless. Moving between DEC PDP 10 computers and displaying "I'm the Creeper, catch me if you can." Oh, cool. That's pretty funny. So this is like the Hello World story or something. This is cool. So now we look up ARPANET. And yeah, not all this new stuff probably, but an experimental computer network created in 1969 and was a precursor to the internet. So it was it's used by packet switching. Wow. Wow. Can you imagine? So the first time you love this computer system and you're looking at your screen and you have this system that you understand. Maybe you don't know the system as well as you think you do. Maybe you do, right? You do. That's the whole point, is you know the system. And then you get the physics of it, right? You understand the physics, the actual computational science or information science. At this point, it would be like materials, it'd be mechanical engineering, materials engineering, computer science, maybe some information science, light physics, stuff like that. So you know all this stuff and how the system works. And then you get a message that says, I'm the creeper, catch me if you can, or something. Very crazy stuff, dude. So you see a text pop up. Normally you don't have this, right? Normally you see a message and maybe you know where it comes from. Maybe it has just like it has a fungible token of in some sense, right? It has you have a name for the thing that you have, and so that's what you maybe don't know, is you don't know if you imagine everything is in some sense ID'd, or whatever, if there's metadata attached, or you just assume it's a trusted network, and so the storage is what's sort of the fungible token or something. Well, however it is, then you get the message and you say that I'm the creeper, catch me if you can. That's crazy, dude. It was a malware. It was a malware. Imagine what they have, bro. I've been scrolling. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna go. I gotta go write on this stuff or something. Good to see everyone. Danny, good to see you. All right, goodbye.